When we were children, we were all complaining. Everyone was whining about trivial things. Say, when in the infancy, we were all going crazy not to eat our food. We were mad about the light or a smudge in the room. We occasionally cried all night. We weren't aware of the fact that food was necessary for our survival, and the shapes in the room were not monsters. We were ignorant, and maybe we still are. Is it good to complain then? Complaints, moaning, poor me, little unfortunate me. Is it good for you? For you, and who are you? You are not you. The things that you complain was a part of an endless space-time. You're complaining about something that you don't have a clue about. You don't know how you ended up here. None of us knows. And to whom are you complaining to? Nobody knows what is your life like, or who is right or wrong in your claims. If you are trying to find unconditional support, no dice. Only sorry comforters and imposters will show that kind of support. Who knows what you deserve and what is in your mind, your past, your future, and the things in your head. That whining, constant lamenting with chatter in your head can only manifest just because you deserve it. Why are you tormenting yourself? That's because you are punishing your own self, ego. That's a manifestation of you understanding it all wrong. The complaints are no use to you, you don't like it either, yet you still do. Nobody knows how and what future brings. It's just right to complain and waste your time if you are too lost in your persona. Once upon a time, people used to visit a wise man to complain about the same problems repeatedly. One day, he decided to tell them a joke, and they all roared with laughter. After a few minutes, he told them the same joke, and only a few of them smiled. Then he told the same joke for the third time, but no one laughed or smiled anymore. The wise man smiled and said, "You can't laugh at the same joke over and over. So why are you always complaining about the same problem?" I think that's because the people have to suffer just because they need and deserve it simultaneously. Illogical, unreasonable, unjustifiable action, that is. Complaint is actually additional suffering, suffering in advance or in depth. It is also for a reason. Possibly you like it or utilize it for some reason. A contrast for an upcoming joy, perhaps. Where does this emerge from? What manifests this behavior? Perhaps you are confusing things, mixing them improperly. Unintentional complaints may be a result of unnecessary delusions. Eat when you eat, write when you write. Eventually, your confusion will be over, just like everything else. If it is not over, think about removing your ego from the equation. Maybe it is not you that is going through the process. Perhaps it is exactly what was supposed to happen, and just like your childhood, you are not able to see it. Maybe it is precisely what you have asked for. What you asked for may not be in words if you didn't put into words already. And don't forget, it is not the event that you are complaining. It is your own conception. You can only complain about the images in your head, not the reality. For reality is not something that you can have a grasp of. You will never know what the reality is and what future. There was once a Zen monastery following a vow of silence. The monks were permitted to speak just 2 words every 10 years. After spending 10 years at the monastery, one monk was asked, What are the two words that you would like to speak? Bed, hard, said the monk. I see, said the head monk. 10 years later, the monk returned to the head monk's office. It has been 10 more years, said the head monk. What are the two words that you would like to speak? Food stinks, said the monk. I see, said the head monk. Another 10 years passed and the monk again met with the head monk, who asked, What are your two words now after 10 years? I quit, said the monk. Well, I can see why, replied the head monk. All you ever do is to complain. If there is a legal or ethical situation, there are mechanisms that require you to complain. When there is an objective outcome, you can complain. Otherwise, your complaints may be stealing your time to improve the situation. Furthermore, if you get stuck, don't forget it is not over yet, and you are not alone in this. Consider before complaining. To whom are you complaining to? And are there separate events? Besides, is the reality same with your conception? What is it good for? Not you, seemingly.